So what happens when an INFJ starts caring about money? So this might be a very toxic topic to a lot of people, and particularly for a lot of INFJs, because there's such emotions attached to this word money, wealth, and just caring about being well off. For most INFJs, it's actually something that goes against who we are. What we actually want is to enjoy life, is to help people, is to not care about those superficial things like money. This is not what you need for happiness, and so on and so forth. But the point is that we have given money such a bad rap. We have made it that this is all about being superficial. This is all about carrying things that aren't really deep. I mean, in the end, we're all about deep connections, and we're not judging people based on how much money they have. We're also not rejecting people because of the way they handle money. Those things are very important to INFJs. But the truth is that because of all of those rejections, because of all of those rules, because of what we make money mean, we're keeping ourselves at a place where we're not experiencing life in a way where we do have the freedom to quit our job if it's really uncomfortable and we don't like our boss, because we haven't really saved up enough to be in a place where we can just do that. It's the reason why we can't go on a vacation that might be life-altering, that allows us to see the world differently. It might be the reason why we're not able to create a passion for ourselves because, it costs money. And it also might be the reason why we're not able to donate to the causes that are important to us. So today we're going to talk about how to change that relationship with money as an INFJ, how to start liking money, how to be okay with it, and to still live in full integrity. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. Wealth management is one of those pillars, and if you want to take it to the next level, then work with me one-on-one. All the information you find in the links in the description. It really is all about money mindset. When it comes to the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life, these are areas and pillars that I've developed for myself throughout the years, and then I've taught to, my clients one-on-one, and then towards INFJs in the bootcamp and in the audio guide and so on. And wealth management and, caring about money was definitely the last thing I took on, because I also had so much, stories around it. It wasn't that I didn't have enough money. I was okay. I had a really good job before I started doing this as well. I was in banking in Europe, so it wasn't really an issue, but I didn't care about money. I didn't care to save. I didn't care to, accumulate it. I didn't care about the entire concept of it. And I saw people around me who actually did care, who, went on these great adventures and who were excited about creating more and more money. And those things I didn't really care about, and I didn't feel that this is a bad thing. I actually felt people were mostly superficial. If they wanted to care about money, and they would then buy expensive handbags or go on vacations or buy expensive cars, those kind of things. But what I wasn't aware of is that this is all energy, and that we're so often keeping ourselves away from this energy, when in the end it's just freedom and it's possibilities. And it gives you an opportunity to live more in alignment with who you really are. Another thing worth mentioning is that just because we tell ourselves we don't care about money, very often we still care if we don't have it. We care if we can't pay our bills. We care if we look at other people having it easier than ourselves. We're aware of it. Even if you look at your account, or you don't want to look at your account because it might tell you what all of the things are that you cannot have right now, it is still a topic. The people who truly don't care about money just have enough of it, so it isn't an issue at all. It isn't something where you feel like, if I had all the money in the world, I would live my life exactly the way I live it now. Of course, this isn't an either or thing. I'm not saying you're either living your life completely the way you would live it if you had all the money in the world, or you're not living it at all. But if you become aware that there is potential, that there is an opportunity to live life more in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to live your life, and that there's a way to deal with all of those feelings of, oh, money is bad, then it becomes that much easier to actually accumulate wealth. It becomes way easier to live a life where money just becomes less of an issue. So how do we do that? Well, first off, we have to become aware what kind of life we would live if we would have more money. And that it's not just about buying superficial things, but there's so many things that you can take control of in this world. You can help yourself, you can help your family, and you can help your community. Like when I started this channel, for example, this was really my way of giving back. And the only way I was able to do that in the beginning was because I had enough money to put into this, to have people who would help me with editing or with my thumbnails and so on, when I wasn't making any money off of this at all. Like, I did this for a couple of years before I actually, started doing this full time. And I was really able to invest a lot of time into it. But just having this outlet was just so important for my soul. And I was so thankful that I did have the money to make that happen and to actually fuel my passion. We talk about this in the 5 pillars as well, that we say, okay, money and wealth fuels your vocation. It can do that. So ask yourself, how would my life look like if I had all the money in the world? Where would I live? What would I do on a daily basis? So many people think, oh, once I have so much money, then I don't have to work anymore. Okay, great. But what are you going to do? This is not about creating a situation where you feel like, oh, okay, now I have money and I'm not going to do anything. This doesn't make you happy, and it won't make you happy as an INFJ. We need to have a goal. We need to have something that we work towards. And it can be us sharing our gift. It can be that we, help out in situations that are important to us. You know how deeply engraved this is within us to make the world a better place. And we can make it a better place by making sure that we're all right, that our families are right, and as I said, the community that we decide to help. So once we've envisioned this, and of course you can change it, but please become aware of it. Like actually sit down. This is something that so many people and so many INFJs tell me, I don't know exactly what I want. I mean, really sit down for 30 minutes on a Saturday and make up your mind. Where would you want to be in 5 years? And the more often you do this exercise, the clearer it becomes. And once this is there, then we need to set goals. Because as INFJs who attach emotions to everything, the more we remove any kind of emotions to anything concerning like money goals, wealth goals, becoming debt-free goals, saving goals, the less we actually focus on those things, the less emotion we attach to it. And so it becomes something that works on autopilot. And this autopilot might not work in a way that is beneficial to us. It might be something that keeps you small. It might be something that keeps you broke. It might be something that keeps you unhappy. What we want is to start making goals and to start tracking them. For us INFJs, this will make the biggest impact. Because as you know, SE is our last function. Extroverted sensing is all about taking action. And so you can contemplate all you want, you can have these great visions, but if you're not taking action in the real world, you're not going to be able to create an identity around being somebody who cares about those financial goals. You will have a negative mindset towards like wealth and money, and you don't want to talk about it because, it makes you uncomfortable. It is already something that is so uncomfortable to talk to in society in general. And amongst INFJs, it's even worse because for us, it can seem like it goes against everything that we believe in, which is all about, living in your mind, being free, being away from all of this materialistic world, when in the end, you choosing to care about money does not mean that you're joining the enemy. You don't have to become greedy. You don't have to care about superficial things. You just don't make it mean more than it actually has to. It doesn't have to mean anything bad. There's this quote by Jen Sincero that I love so much. She has this book called You're Badass at Making Money. And, she talks about overcoming all of those inner hurdles that kept her broke for years. She says, even if you would say, I love money, there's definitely a disclaimer behind it. But it's not everything. Helping people is more important. Stopping and smelling the roses is more important. Laughter, being with my friends, enjoying life, and all of those things that are for free. If you would say, I love pizza, you would never have that disclaimer. You would never say, I love pizza, but it's not everything. It's not as good as helping people. It's not as good as, stopping and smelling the roses or, enjoying the free things in life. Nothing like this. So we're making it mean more than it actually has to. if we allow ourselves to look at it as something that unless we actually start setting goals and we track them, particularly as INFJs, we're always going to have a negative kind of connotation to it. And that way, we're just repelling this whole topic altogether. But if you make sure that you set goals, and it's important that you set goals, smart goals, as in they have to be measurable, they have to be time bound, they have to be specific, applicable, all of these things. That you have a goal as in, I want to save $5,000 by the end of this year, and you have this, and then you track every single step that you take towards this. This becomes part of your identity. You would feel bad not tracking. You would feel bad not working towards that. And before you know it, it actually is something that makes your life easier, that allows it to be actually more selfless because you're not walking around with this scarcity mindset. You feel abundant, you act abundant, and therefore you want to give even more. Making sure that it all happens from a win-win situation where your cup of energy is running over, and with that excess energy that's spilling over, you're helping the people you decide to help. When you as an INFJ start caring about money, you're actually giving yourself an opportunity to add more good to the world. Money is not good or bad or evil or great or fortunate, it's energy. And you decide how you're going to use it. Trust yourself that you're going to do this with integrity. And if you give yourself that opportunity, you're allowing yourself to change the world a little bit more the way you see fit. You deserve this in your life. So make sure that you give this a try, that you start caring about money, and that you don't make it mean anything that it doesn't have to mean. If you want some more guidelines how to create an INFJ epic life for yourself, then download the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. And if you want to take it to the next level, then work with me one-on-one. All the information you find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video, What Happens When INFJs Accept Their Mind-Blowing Nature.